Hey everybody, welcome to the Randy Justus Show. I am back live tonight for the first time in a while. I want to welcome you guys. Hey guys, whether you're coming, whether you're joining live or you're watching this later, I want to welcome you to the show. Really excited to have you here tonight. Last week we talked about the possibility of the Aurora that was going to be happening way down south, and I know that it got as far south as Mexico. As you can see here around the right side of my screen, I have got some of the Aurora pictures I took from Knoxville, Tennessee. And you can see the very first one there. Took that with my iPhone. You can see the wonderful bluish purplish glow that the Aurora gave off. The same thing with the second one there. So it was really neat. But then I was able to, as the night went on, I took those right around 9 o'clock or so. But when we got between 11 and 12, that's when it got a lot better. And I was able to get my Nikon Z9 out, and I took this picture. As you can see, that's pretty spectacular. I'm so excited. That's the second time this year that I've been able to get pictures of the Aurora, and it was as spectacular as they said. Been looking at some of the scientists that talk about space weather and all this all the time, and they said that really over the next 2 years that we could continue to have opportunities to see this same thing because the sun's going to be at a maximum to where we're going to get more solar storms, and we can have a lot more of this expect. So kind of one of those things that doesn't happen very often, but we do have a couple more shots over the next couple of years. So stay tuned and let's see what happens. Talking about pictures stuff I took, though, I just thought I'd show you this one. It's one that I took of the moon the other night also, first quarter moon, and I just thought I'd show you guys that. Anyway, man, I hope everybody's doing good. I've got a lot of things I want to go over tonight. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to show you the Aurora because I thought that was so cool. I'll actually leave that picture up since that's what we were talking about. And last week, I talked about the Aurora coming. So let's talk about this. Something I've talked about before on the show. Well, before I get there, so just to let you guys know that Tennessee has already seen its first snow of the season, especially at LeConte Lodge and also at Newfound Gap. So the Smokies actually got some snow on the 16th yesterday. It was really, really pretty up there. It wasn't but a couple of inches in most places, but I think LeConte got up to 4 inches, which it normally does, but first snow of the season, and really beautiful up there. So I just thought I would bring that up. We're in fall right now, but winter is right around the corner. And with that, I would like to say that do you know if your car is ready for winter? We don't think about it a lot during the summer because even though the heat and the temperatures are hard on our cars and our batteries and everything, the cold weather is what really can get batteries especially. And that's why at Knox Horizon Complete Auto Center, the repair shop that is owned by myself and my lovely wife, Deb, every car that comes in, we test the battery starting and charging system to make sure that there's nothing going on that you might somewhere down the road end up having a failure and get stranded somewhere. And if you don't know if your car has been winterized, most cars, the recommendation on changing your antifreeze coolant in the car is every 2 to 4 years, depending on the car and the antifreeze you have in there. We recommend every 2 because if you don't, it will not perform as well. So with that being said, just, if your car's not been winterized, Knox Horizon in Knoxville, Tennessee will be glad to check your car out for you and make sure that you're ready for the winter season that's upcoming. You can visit us at knoxhorizon.com. You can give us a call at 865-219-6999. And we'll be glad to make an appointment, check your car out, make sure it's ready. I also want to give a big shout out. Now, as I've always said, I do not have anybody that sponsors anything on this show. The shout outs I give, number one, Knox Horizon, of course, we own the business. So I'm always going to give a shout out to the business myself and my wife own. Embody Healthcare, they don't pay me anything for this endorsement, but I endorse them because in Knoxville, Tennessee, I believe that they are the best health care providers we have, general practice. They also do ketamine infusions for mental health, and they are a fantastic, fantastic husband and wife team that own Embody Healthcare, and they're the practitioners there. Over half of our employees go to them, as well as my entire family, and we couldn't be more pleased. So a big shout out to Mike and Melissa Major, the proprietors of Embody Healthcare. Visit them at mbodyhealthcare.com and find out more about them. Okay, with that said, another thing I'll get out of the way real quick. If you're new to the channel and you find this video interesting, I ask you to hit that like button. Feel free to comment. If you get in here live, please feel free to leave a live comment. Share the video if you think it would be helpful to anybody else or you think they might like it. And please feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'd love to grow this channel and get the things I have to say out to more people. Anyway, again, thank you guys for watching so much tonight or watching in the future at a later date. Talked about the first snow. So here's one of the things I want to talk about. This has come up a lot lately at our shop. And it's people when they go to buy a new to them car, a used car. And one of the things we encourage all the time is pre-purchase inspections. So that you have a good chance of getting a good car and knowing if there's any problems before you make that purchase, or if it's a good car you should purchase. We had a Subaru that came in a couple of weeks ago that the guy had gotten a good deal on it, but after we checked it out, he needed over $6,000 worth of work. So was it a good deal? When you add how much work needs to be done on top of it, what you paid for it, that's where you've got to decide, is it a good deal? We had and I can't remember what it was, a car came in a few weeks ago. The kid had already bought it, no pre-purchase inspection. And he brought it in because he was having a starting problem. So when we opened the hood, the first thing we saw was the battery was held down by bungee cords, and there were bolts missing, parts missing, and a whole lot of problems with this car. And we actually refused to work on it because the car wasn't worth putting in, and nothing we could have done to have ever made that car right because it was just wore out. Now, the one thing I tell people all the time when we do pre-purchase inspections, no matter how thorough we are, we don't have x-ray vision, and I can't see every internal in the vehicles. And we don't have a crystal ball, and it's mechanical, and sometime in the future it's going to break. That's just what it is. Which brings me to the next thing that I tell people about a lot. If you're going to get a used car, get a service contract on it so that you're covered on that car. And a service contract, depending on what level you buy, and there's a lot of them out there. We here at Knox Horizon, we sell AUL contracts just because we've had great success out of them and found that they really cover people's cars. Now, there's other good ones. Car Shield out there is good, but none of them, you get what you pay for, I guess is what I'm going to say with service contracts. And there's different levels. And we had a lady come in a while back, could not understand why something wasn't covered on her car because I've got a service contract. I got a service contract. She had declined that particular coverage on her vehicle. And it's even like with AUL, I've got one of their brochures right here, and I'll just kind of go over it. They've got different levels. They have a powertrain level, which covers the engine, turbocharger, supercharger, transmission, transaxle, transfer case, drive axle group, hybrid electric vehicle group, seals and gaskets. Now, that's all that level covers. That's the lowest coverage they offer. You can go up to the next group, which is called the Sterling, which includes everything we just talked about, but then it adds in brakes, power steering, air conditioning, electrical, cooling. Then we can move up to the next level, which includes everything else we've talked about, but then it adds in the front rear suspension, enhanced electrical group, a hybrid electric vehicle group, hybrid electric vehicle battery. Then you go all the way up to the very top one that covers all that plus a ton more. It includes all that, and it includes a whole lot more on there. It's the number one plan they have. But the thing is, these plans cost more as you go up in the different levels. And if you're somebody, you buy that service contract and you just buy the powertrain and your air conditioning compressor goes out, well, your air conditioning compressor is not covered unless you bought that level. The other thing about AUL, and the reason we like it, with all the plans, it comes with towing. Your vehicle's covered if it breaks down. It will be towed within a 150-mile radius, and the service is available 24/7. Flat tire change, emergency fuel delivery service, battery jump service, key lockout service, rental car, and trip interruption. So that's just one of the things, but it keeps you covered. And here's what I would say, what we found. We had a Mercedes in here that it was a turbocharged Mercedes SUV, and we did everything we could to get the woman to buy a service contract on it because we knew the turbos were going to go out eventually. They already showed signs of problems. She refused to buy it, and eventually the turbos went out, and when they did, they disintegrated. Parts went into the engine and destroyed the whole engine. The service contract on it would have been, to cover all that stuff, would have been somewhere right around, if I remember correctly, $4,800. And it would have covered it for, I think it was 60,000 miles, 180 months. And this went out within, I think, the first 6 months that she had that vehicle. Well, it was going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to repair it. Whereas if she had just bought the service contract, it would have all been covered except for a $100 deductible out of her pocket. What I was saying before, though, about we don't have x-ray vision and things are going to break. No matter how good that we check one out, there are some things that can be internal in an engine that may not show up by listening or test driving or anything else, but it may be a problem that we just can't see because, again, no x-ray vision. I can't see inside the engine. And a good example is we had one come in the other day that we knew had an oil leak and had some problems, and the oil pan was leaking for one, so we pulled the oil pan off, and we found bits of plastic and metal in the oil pan, and now we're like, oh, crap, where did that come from? Something we couldn't have seen without taking the oil pan off because there was no indications. So even if we had done a pre-purchase inspection on that we couldn't have found. Now, it did have some other problems, transmission lines leaking, some other things that we could have found, and maybe it would have helped the purchaser to negotiate a better deal on the vehicle, knowing how much the repairs for those things were going to be. But now it's going to take, and no service contract on it, so now it's going to be over $8,000 to repair this vehicle because what happened was that part of the timing come apart. One of the timing guides broke, and it's got to be replaced, one of the chains, and it's on an Audi, and the timing in this engine's in the back. It's not in the front where they most are. And unfortunately, that's the thing I tell people. People ask me all the time, what kind of car should I be? My honest opinion, from everything we see come in the shop, if you want a car that's going to be dependable, I think that Toyota is about the most dependable vehicle on the road today. Now, they have problems, but not near as much as everybody else. Nissan is really good as long as you stay away from the CVT transmissions. I drive a Nissan Pathfinder. Nissan ain't paying me anything for this. That's just what I chose to drive. And mine has a regular 9-speed automatic transmission in it, no CVT. And it's a great vehicle. Honda's a good vehicle. Hyundai Kia is a good vehicle as long as you stay away from the 2.4-liter engine, because those inherently have problems. Same thing we see all the time with Chevy Equinoxes and anything with the 2.4 Ecotec engine from GM. It's not if the timing's going to go out eventually, it's when. And it's normally somewhere between 80 and 130,000 miles. There's a pin in the timing cover that breaks and the timing comes apart. And most of the time when that happens, you end up bending valves, having to pull the heads, and again, thousands upon thousands of dollars to repair that. So again, a service contract's very important, and again, you've got to really look at what you're buying. In my opinion, somebody asked me the other day, what should we expect to pay for a good, decent used car? From what we've seen coming in and what people are paying on used cars, you're not going to get a good, decent used car that you're not going to have to put a lot of money in for less than $12,000 to $15,000. And I know that just scared some people to death because most people don't have that kind of money. But I'm just telling you, if you get a car that's less than that, more than likely, there are exceptions. Don't get me wrong, there are some out there, but they're hard to find. The good ones are. And if you get one that's less than that, most of the time you're going to put several thousands of dollars into repairs in it. So you're going to pay it up front and pay that $15,000 for a car, or you're going to pay it on the back end in repairs. And I don't know what to tell you. That's just our experience from what we're seeing in this area. It may be different in other areas of the country. I don't know. The other thing we have is we've quit working on, we used to work at Knox Horizon on cars for a lot of the used car lots in town, and we quit. We fired them all as customers because what we found is they don't want to repair their cars before they sell them to their customers. I'm not going to name any of them specific, but we found it across the board. They want to repair it as cheap as possible, and some of the car lots was including safety items they didn't want to fix, and we're not going to be a party to that here. If you're not going to fix a safety item, we know that you're going to sell that car to somebody else. We're not going to touch it in the first place. So that's the one thing I would say. If you're going to buy a used car, go to a dealership that has a certified pre-owned program and buy it that way. Because normally, a lot of times, they're going to have, in that certified pre-owned program, it's going to have some kind of warranty that comes with it. And it may have, if it's low enough mileage, still have some factory warranty left on it. And if not, most of them sell service contracts. And I'm telling you, a service contract, even though you may think that it's a lot up front, you can roll it into your loan on the car, so you're not having to pay it all up front. You're just making your monthly payments like you would. And instead of, if your engine blows up, instead of having to pay $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 plus to replace that engine, it's covered, and you're out wherever the deductible is, whether it's $100 or $250. It's a lot better than the thousands of dollars you would have to pay out of your pocket if that engine went out. So, that's what I can say about that. And I encourage people all the time, please get a pre-purchase inspection on your car before you buy it. I don't care how good it sounds. I don't care what good of a deal. And if you tell a dealer you want to have a pre-purchase inspection done on it by another shop and they say no, run. Because they've got something to hide. And I can tell you, and there's a reason that we used to be in the used car business. We had a used car dealership. We got out of the business because what we found was the cars we were buying at auction, because that's what we do. Every dealer out there buys them wholesale from auction, fixes the cars up, or they're supposed to, and before they sell them. But what we found is that after the several years ago, the Cash for Clunkers program that President Obama initiated, people weren't getting rid of the clunkers. They were getting rid of perfectly good used cars. They crushed them all, and what's left out there is nothing but pure junk, in my opinion, and it is just my opinion. And now everything we got at auction, it was not because somebody was tired of their car and they traded it in. It was because they had problems with it and didn't want to pay the thousands of dollars to fix it. So when we got cars into the used car lot, we were having to spend $3,000-$4,000 to fix the car before it would be good for somebody. And then it was pricing it so high that nobody wanted to buy it because it was showing that we were selling it higher than what Black Book, Blue Book, or any of them said we should be selling it for. And it didn't help that we explained to them, look, we're fixing the cars right. Here's all the work we've done so you don't have to. You're getting a better car. They didn't care. It was like they would rather buy the car at the price the Black Book says and then put their own $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 into it. But then when they had to do that, they got mad at you because they said you sold them a bad car. It was a no-win situation. There is no way, in my opinion, that a used car dealership right now can buy cars, good cars, and fix them the way they need to be fixed and sell them at a reasonable price. It just can't be done. And that's why people get mad at used car dealerships every day. But I'm telling you now, if you go to one, you're going to buy a lemon more than likely. Well, not a lemon because there's no lemon laws on used cars. You buy them as is. There is no recourse. And it sucks the place we're in, and everything's higher now because of the economy and everything else. So, we're spending a lot more money on everything we have, not just used cars, but bread, milk, food, everything. So I would encourage anybody, again, get a pre-purchase inspection, get a service contract, know what you're buying before you buy it from a dealership, a OEM, a Ford, Chrysler, whatever dealership that has a certified pre-owned program, because you have a better chance that way of getting a decent car that's going to last you to get you around than you do buying it from a used car lot. And again, this is just strictly my opinion based on what we've seen in their shop. So moving on from that topic, like I said, when I let everybody know today, a lot of topics on my mind, a lot of things on my mind. We've got the election coming up, and I try not to be political on here, but you know what? I don't know how I can't help but be a little political and just ask the question I asked a couple of weeks ago. Are you better off now than you were 3.5 years ago? And when I asked that a couple of weeks ago, I got plenty of people tell me, no, they're not. I don't know if anybody watched the interview with Brett Baer and Kamala Harris the other night. But what a disaster that was. Now you're going to have people that say, oh, she did a great job. She did a great job. She didn't answer a single question he asked. She couldn't give a straight answer to a thing that Brett asked. And that's just ridiculous. And I'm not sure what the heck to say about it, except it's just, I don't know. Whether you like Trump or don't like him, under him, the economy was good. We could afford our bread, milk, gas, and everything else. And now people are literally starving out here. I don't think there's but one choice. And unfortunately, maybe you have to hold your nose to do it if you don't like Trump. Well, it is what it is. But I'm telling you now, if you elect Kamala Harris and she gets in there with what she's proposed on increasing corporate taxes and taxing unrealized capital gains and everything, then you're going to put businesses like ours out of business. You're not going to have a shop to come to anymore to get your car worked on because we're not going to be in business because we can't pay it. We work on such a small profit margin now that it's unreal. And everybody thinks, oh, somebody owns a business. They've got all this money. No, we don't, guys. Everything we get, me and my wife does not take any money out of this company. We put money in to keep it afloat and to make sure our people have jobs and stuff. Our business is just a little over 1.5 years old, and most businesses fail within their first 3 to 5 years. It's 3 to 5 years before any business makes a profit, let alone breaks even. And so we're a long way from that point. And I'm telling you now, if Harris gets elected, we're done. I mean, it's just the truth. I don't see how we can survive. If she enacts everything she wants to enact, there's nothing we can do. So there's my politic take tonight. you're free to vote for whoever you want to, but if you vote for her, in my opinion, you're putting small businesses like ours out of business. And, it is what it is. But, when you have nowhere to get your car fixed or other services that you use, just remember, I told you so. A tragedy, North Carolina, Hurricane Helene and Milton down in Florida. People are still suffering. People are still having so many problems. And our prayers and thoughts are still with those people. I've talked to a lot of people that have been affected, or they've had family that's affected, and my heart goes out to every one of them. Guys, it's been fun being live again tonight. It's been a while. I've had a lot going on, and I have made some changes in my life so that hopefully I can put out a lot more content. I can focus on my photography more, and I can work on some issues that I really want to get out to you guys, and do some more things to help our community and help other people. And I did that by stepping away from the day-to-day operations at Knox Horizon. I have a great crew. They do a great job. As a matter of fact, I got an awesome text today. I was so pleased when I got this text, and let me find it here. I'd love to read it to you guys. So I got big shout out to George McFly, DJ at WIMZ 103.5 radio right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. George sent me a text today. He was bringing his car in with a flat tire, and I love the text he sent me. He said, I have no idea what I would do without you guys. I'm here now. Your staff is so awesome, Randy. I'll be back tomorrow, too, to get all the gunk out of my tire that went flat. Today's message, I only use Fix-A-Flat in an absolute emergency. And it's awesome. Then he texted just a little bit later. He said, you are simply the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My tire's fixed, and you guys are incredible. It's things like that just blow my mind. I didn't pay George for that. He brings when George tells everybody on IMZ, when he does our commercials, that he brings his vehicles here, he does. Same thing with Mr. Phil Williams at News Talk 987 here in Knoxville. When Phil tells you guys that he brings all of his vehicles here at Knox Horizon, he does. We've worked on his. We've worked on his daughters. We've worked on his producers. We've worked on several people. Matter of fact, we do now all the vehicles for Cumulus Knoxville that owns 98.7 News Talk, and we do all the ones for Midwest Communications that owns WIMZ and some other radio stations. So not only do we advertise with them, but they trust us to work on their vehicles. We specialize in fleets, and we have a lot of fleet accounts at Knox Horizon. So I think I've definitely plugged our business tonight a lot, and I appreciate you guys letting me do that. I'll give another shout out just because, man, I appreciate them so much, and that's Mike and Melissa at Embody Healthcare. Embody has just changed, as far as from a health perspective, has changed mine, my family's, and like I say, half of our employees go to them. They've changed our lives. Everybody enjoys going to them as medical professionals because, one, is they listen to you. Second, they don't deal with insurance companies. It's a direct primary care practice, which means you pay a small monthly membership fee. It's for individuals, it's $99 a month. Businesses, there's an employee discount deal that if you have 3 or more employees, you can get your employees on there, offer that as a benefit, even if you split the cost with your employees, like a lot of people do with health insurance. Or if you're a business that doesn't have health insurance, it's a great way to be able to offer them some health care, and you can get 98% of your health care taken care of right there. And they have work to make cash discounts with other providers, especially imaging providers. As a matter of fact, I can tell you today that my wife had to, and she's fine, by the way, everything came back negative, but she had to have an MRI today, and we paid cash for it, whereas our we hadn't met our deductible through insurance, and it would have been a whole lot more, but we paid, I think it was $450 for an MRI. She got it, and we had the results back today. When you work on a cash basis and you're not having to pay copays all the time and you're not having to go through insurance, it makes life a lot easier. So again, Embody Healthcare, please check them out, embodyhealthcare.com. Knox Horizon, if you need your car worked on, check out knoxhorizon.com. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. I appreciate you if you watch this later. You guys are awesome. I couldn't do this channel without you. I feel very blessed by the subscribers I have. I know my channel's not big. I would love to grow it. So again, if you've liked this video, hit the like button. Feel free to leave a comment. Please share it. I'd love for you to do that. And please subscribe to the channel if you've not. And anyway, guys, I'll see you back here next Thursday at 6 p.m. But you can, if you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button, this next week, I'm going to be posting some content. I have found a landmark here in Knoxville that is it's a historical landmark that for over 40 years, I didn't even know was in my own backyard. And I'm going to make a video, take you guys and show it to you. And I will have that up in the next couple of days. So I hope y'all have a great week. Have a good night. And I will see you very soon.